Later on that year, in 2005, we received the second part of the order, which was, and you can see there again, the VisiBoard corrugated carton, or pallet, I should say, and on that is a waxed cleat, and the engine simply sits inside the bag and is folded over. It's a very simple but effective pack. Now we come to the most significant change in VCI packaging. Holden export engines worldwide. Probably a lot of you don't know that they make the Saab engine, they make the Opel engine, they make the Alfa Romeo engine and the Isuzu engine to Japan and Korea. Their concern was that water coolant that is trapped inside the engine after they test run an engine can't be fully drained from the engine itself. So it could work its way up and go inside the clutch housing and onto the flywheel, and it would cause absolutely catastrophic results. And I'll paint the picture a little bit broader than that and just tell you where all these engines go worldwide. Delta, for instance, in South Africa receive 100 engines a month. Saab in Sweden pick up 1,000 engines a month. Alfa and Fiat take 330 engines a month. Isuzu in Japan take 350 engines a month. Daewoo in Korea, SGM China, another 1,500 engines. Now we go on to the Family 2 engine. GM Thailand, Daewoo Korea, and Delta South Africa take another 200 engines a month. Shanghai General in China take 4,000 engines a month. Imagine the logistical nightmare if significant engines were recalled due to corrosion. So we were requested to go in there and find out what we could about developing a product for them. So I personally spent at least 6 months in the lab. Absolutely devoted study to many forms of rigid plastics, release characteristics of VCIs, a mountain of laboratory tests, and until we came up with the right formula of the VCI release characteristic in the plastic part. Not only did we have to come up with the right formula, but the product had to lock on to the engine, the flywheel, and not be dislodged during transit. So it was elliptical in shape, it would lock on and nest itself onto the engine, and it had to obviously withstand micro moisture penetration. Now, as you've said before, we are mighty proud of the end result of this product. Our laboratory time, design, now in production as an Australian export product. We now have patented and design registered this product. The product now carries an international part number recognised by GM worldwide. In 2006 we won both the Gold and Silver Industrial Packaging Awards from the Packaging Council of Australia. More importantly, for me, as a proud Australian, I believe I'm helping in my small way in developing overseas export markets, which in turn assist in the preservation of Australian jobs, including hopefully my grandchildren's. Now we talk about the environmental aspects of the product. This slide shows the prior method of a very labour-intensive hand wrapping method of preparing that engine for export. And can I tell you, the guys in the factory absolutely hated this job because they had to find any piece of plastic material, wrapping. I've exaggerated that opening a little bit. They did close it up, can I tell you, but fundamentally it was as bad as that. By direct contrast, the rigid plastic cover can be snugly locked on very efficiently and very quickly. I went a little bit further with that too, because from a sustainability point of view, this product can be regranulated and put back into the packaging cycle. In actual fact, it's used as commercial seedling trays and mould trays for concrete forming. So the part itself and the scrap goes back into the packaging cycle. It's a very sustainable product indeed. I returned to HSV to look at what we can incorporate if we could do a better product for them. HSV was starting to win a lot more business in Dubai and the Gulf states and also to the UK. Some principles of the earlier VCI protector with all the same considerations. The tear off of the wheel was a butterfly design we put in, and locking features on the back of the caliper. The rib section was interesting. That rib section, when you test drive an SS Commodore or one of those type of vehicles in their car park at 100 kilometres an hour, can I tell you, it had to maintain the force against the rotor and stay on. And that was very important, and not flap off during trials. So here we created a very new and very different co-extruded rigid plastic, and it's now on every export car. It's a far superior product to the board, even though I love board as well, as it contours the entire shape of the brake package and locks onto the caliper. This particular shot shows the car's now ready for overseas shipment. As I mentioned earlier, we anticipate HSV will export an increasing number of sedans to the Middle East as well as the United Kingdom. And the tape on the actual bonnet and the sides is simply to protect when they have to tie down the car actually is tied down through the wheels and across the bonnet on the ship to prevent lurching and movement. It's my considered opinion that we have some way to go with alternative products such as VCI labels, large triple layer film bags, which we're working on again. I've looked at foam, impregnating foam with a VCI and then laser cutting or die cutting that product. We actually use it in flute board, and there's a company in Melbourne called Corex. Up in Sydney or Bathurst it's Polystrom, and we've done some work with them on VCI in core flute. And I believe we could make die cut cartons out of this product too. But I believe we've just scratched the surface, particularly in the rigid plastic side. Not only just the automotive and engineering area, but we're looking at closely at the electronics industry as well. On my office walls are saying, do not go where there is a path, go instead where there's no path and leave a trail. So instead of chasing the same old business as everyone else, I try and dabble in alternatives. Look for other opportunities that no one else has thought of. Think outside the square. It's easy to say, but try and do it. Be a proud Australian. Remember, our manufacturing industry in Australia will be our grandchildren's new business battleground, and we must do whatever we can to preserve it for them and leave it in good shape. Thank you.